Center for New Americans. We teach English, like the International Language Institute, and Macy and I had talked before, so I don't want to repeat what she said, I want to build on it. But we teach English and literacy and computer classes. We offer distance learning so people can take what they've learned in the classroom and learn on their own. We teach career pathways classes. We work with Curran and Berger, and we provide citizenship assistance, and we are licensed to do some immigration legal services as well. So in terms of communication and cultural barriers, what have we learned? I want to talk about what has been said today and reinforce it, just adjusting what I was going to say to what we've talked about. We teach people who have had no formal education and may be pre-literate. We teach people who have been professionals in their home country. And how do we do that? We teach to people's goals and needs. We ask people what they want to learn, and we weave the curriculum frameworks and all of the state standards and requirements into keeping things relevant, so keeping it real. So if people want to know how to support their children in school, or they want to know what they're going to expect when they go to the airport, we weave all of the standards into teaching to people's needs and goals, and we adjust our instruction to what students are focused on. We use a lot of pictures, we use a lot of miming and role-playing, a lot of acting, to make certain that people who have not spoken English before and are speaking it, along with people from every conceivable country in the world in our countries, in our classes, are at the same zero level, and they're still speaking English and understanding and moving forward. One of our former teachers and program coordinators said that we are really a salad and not a melting pot. That the melting pot analogy is very attractive, but it really does immigrants a disservice, because in a melting pot, everything sort of blends together. Where in a salad, everything works together but retains its own identity. And to the point about culture being so important that you made so compellingly this morning, we recognize that people don't give up their culture, shouldn't give up their culture, that their culture is who they are and enriches who we now are together, and we want to celebrate that. In fact, we host a naturalization ceremony every year outside the courthouse on the morning of July 4th, and invariably the presiding magistrate will say, please hold on to your culture, even as you embrace what's new and valuable and that you've worked for in the US, you need to preserve the richness and history of your own culture. The other, things that I was thinking about as I was listening today, and what makes, what we've learned, is the respect that I think it's so important to bring, because students, no matter what their educational background, no matter what their life history, have lessons that they've learned and can share, have skills that are translatable. And one of the things that's really interesting now is that so many of our students have been caregivers in their home country and come from caring traditions, especially in working with the elderly. And if you think about the industries that are growing in this region and where the dearth of workers are, it's caring for an increasingly aging population, and the home health agencies and the nursing homes cannot recruit and train people fast enough, but we have classrooms full of people who do this quite naturally and comfortably and willingly and professionally. And so we are thrilled that we have a new grant to be able to train people to learn English even as they become qualified for healthcare jobs at Smith Vocational School. And that's really honoring traditions that are much more salient in other countries, but very needed here. Other things that help, small steps. All of our students have goals, and some of the goals seem so out of reach, and the pathway can seem so overwhelming, and it becomes so much more accessible if our teachers and advisors work with students to break things into little steps. And sometimes students have an aha moment where they say, I don't need to do this all at once. I know where I'm going, and it's okay if I accomplish this goal and we celebrate, and then I go on to something else and come back to the next. So sort of like in a career pathway, stackable certificates. So you might train to be a personal care attendant, and then you might work. And then when you're ready, you might come back and study certified nursing assistant, and then you might work. And then if you're ready, you come back and you study for nursing. And many of our students are on that pathway. And so things become much more possible. Creating community, so important. Communities and rituals. We have an end of cycle celebration at the end of every class cycle. Everyone cooks and brings food from their home country. Increasingly, students are asking, can I bring music and I'll DJ? Can I read poetry? How about if our class sings a song? And being able to adapt a ceremony that you've been doing for many years to adjust to embracing student suggestions that make it that much richer. We encourage students to be leaders in the classroom. So where students can teach each other, teachers fall back and allow students to be leaders because there's reasons why they should. The other thing is being realistic about the trajectory. You know, we're all nonprofits here and we all answer to funders, and funders all want outcomes. And one of the things that's so challenging, I think, is to acknowledge the need for outcomes and document them and deliver them while keeping your eye on the mission and recognizing that humans don't fit neatly and evenly into outcome boxes. And we have a student that we've known for 8 years, and and more, who studied English with us and then went and got a job. And then when she felt stable enough, came back for her citizenship, didn't pass the first time, worked with a tutor, and just passed. And the trajectory is just so long. And who knows when she'll come back to us the next time. On Friday, we will celebrate the graduations from the Advanced Manufacturing and Computer Numerical Coding class that GCC offers of 2 of our alumni who couldn't possibly have tackled that work when they got out of our program. But 5 years hence, they're stars in the class. So it ain't over till it's over. It's a long journey, and people come back to you for support when they're ready for it, and you need to adjust to give it to them in the way that they want it. And the stories, we have an 81-year-old woman with a walker who never got to complete school in her home country. She doesn't fit into any of our funders' boxes in terms of the outcomes that she'll deliver, except for the fact that her daughter went back for professional training because she was inspired by her mother. We are inspired by the people we work with, and I think we're all growing together.